Oh my god. That was probably the best SmackDown I have ever seen. And it's the SmackDown after WrestleMania. I got a lot of things to talk about in this video, so let's do it. So the show started off with John Cena. And this is exactly what happened on Monday Night Raw. John Cena was disrespected by the ring announcer. So he called him to the ring to properly introduce him. Now, I'm not going to repeat the exact thing that he said because this was basically what he said on Monday Night Raw. And then after the introduction, John Cena was going to say something. But he didn't get to say anything because Randy Orton comes out. So Randy tells him, it's going to be 25 years since we first shook hands. And you never changed. You had a way of being hustle, loyalty, and respect. There is a void in you that needed some filling. All the children you motivated, all the goals for you. You fulfilled their dreams more than anyone else. You can't tell me that those kids were just a number. You need to have kids. Imagine little Cena's. You need to be a father. But then John Cena started clapping back at him. So then he says, Randy, you know why I don't have kids? Because I've been raising your kids for 25 years. And I think I've done an impeccable job. Now here's the truth. I have been a better father to your kids than you ever would. And then John Cena directs his attention to a kid and he says, that's right, kid, your dad is a loser. So then he notices that kid giving him the middle finger. And then he tells that little kid, oh, you gave me the little finger. Very classy. That, Randy, is why I don't have kids. I have been policing brats for a quarter of this century. And then he gives an advice to that little kid. Don't ever bring a knife to a gunfight. And after that he says, bet your dad didn't teach you that one, huh? And then this dude just keeps talking to that kid and he says, don't look at me like you're gonna go. Oh, I feel so bad for that kid. Alright, and then he asks Randy, are we done here? But then Randy says, no, we're not even done here. Is it so deep in your brain that you can't even hear what I'm saying? These fans are the reason why you are standing here before me right now. They're the reason why you're in Hollywood. WWE is the reason why you went to Hollywood. And without WWE, there's no Hollywood. And without the WWE Universe, there is no WWE. No matter what you want to say, these fans are the reason why you are standing here in the ring with me. John, I made a lot of mistakes, and I learned from them. I can give my respect to the locker room. I'm here to stay. And you, well, you're just a guest. So then Cena says, we all had our perspectives. I believe in yours. That without them, there is no WWE. I used to think that we won together, but I was wrong. We didn't win anything. I did. I never needed them. They would chant, let's go Cena, Cena sucks. And that encouraged the fans to actually do the chant. I just turned a random dude pale white. Imagine saying you suck for 25 years. They don't mean anything to me. You're just like all of them. You're all hypocrites. I'm an outcast? I'm a guest? That's why this is dysfunctional. That's why this doesn't work. That's not functional. That is manipulation. You are just manipulating yourselves, making you feel good when you have nothing in your lives. And then he turns his attention to some random dude in the crowd and he says, all this dude has done in the front row is dress up like Jack Black. He's 100 years old and that's a way to stay alive. I get criticized and labeled an outcast. A guest for trying to do something different. And then Randy gets a turn and then he struggles to say something, but then he says, oh my god, I am so stupid. I'm so stupid to think for 1 second that I'm living in a bizarre world where I'm the good guy and then you're the bad guy. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, but then the words that are coming out of my mouth that are not penetrating for your thick ass skull. Cody Rhodes, before his badass entrance theme plays, it says, wrestling has more than one royal family. He's not just talking about his family, he's talking about my family. You want to ruin wrestling? Wrestling has given me everything. Ever since I got out of my mother's room, wrestling has provided me everything. Wrestling has given everything for me, my wife, my children, my loved ones, until I am put 6 feet down in the ground. Ruin wrestling? Nah, you're not gonna ruin wrestling over my dead body. And then John Cena ends up interrupting Randy Orton and he says, shut your mouth. You just don't understand. I'll explain it to you. I already won 17. You won 14. But after I take this home with me, you are forever frozen. And yes, there will be another show. You will have other matches. They will also create some tinfoil title so they can fight for it. And if you are lucky to win that, your record starts over at 1, you babbling moron. What I am trying to do, Randy Orton, is when I leave, is make sure 3 generations of your family are erased. And Randy starts to hear it. He hears those voices in his head. So then Orton tells Cena, so you are the last real WWE champion? Alright, prove it. You and me for that title tonight. And this hypes up the crowd. But then John Cena ends up telling him no. And just like I've been doing it for the past 25 years, I'm only doing this to save your ass. And you're right, there should be a match. Randy Orton versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. But not here. Let's do it at Backlash. Here, it doesn't seem right. Backlash is at your hometown of St. Louis. And I want to see Randy Orton at his best. Because after Backlash, when you fail, you will have no excuses. Take one last look at the last real WWE champion. And he shows Randy Orton the title. And this is as close as you can get to the WWE Championship. So then Cena throws the WWE Championship to Randy Orton. Orton catches it. And that's where John Cena starts beating him down. Cena picks up the belt. He's in the corner. He's waiting for Randy Orton to get up. Once he starts striking, Randy Orton counters and gives him an RKO. My goodness, this is gonna cook. And I said it on Twitter. Truths were told and it got intense. So now I want to move on to the return of Aleister Black. So the segment started when The Miz was in the ring. He was babbling about on how he wasn't at WrestleMania. Then the lights go out. And then we hear Aleister Black's theme song from NXT. They play his NXT theme song, and it actually kind of sounded like they remastered it. It's either they remastered it or they actually re-recorded it. Either way, it's a great song. So then as the lights go on, Aleister Black is in the ring along with The Miz. And then Miz is just confused on who is this guy? And then Miz asks, what the hell are you doing here? And as he got closer to Aleister Black striked him with the black mass. Welcome back to WWE, Aleister Black. So then I had an interesting interaction with some dude in the comments. So I tweeted, suck it, Tony. Now he was telling me that it was a win-win here for Tony Khan. And he told me, thank you for making AEW relevant with the tweet. He said that it was a win-win here because he let Malachi Black go. And he brought in Speedball Mike Bailey and what's his name? Oh yeah, Josh Alexander. And then I quote tweeted his tweet and said, to only use him for a few months, by the way. You don't think I know what Tony Khan does to his new talent? And then he tells me that, they had a match of the year candidate with the Young Bucks or something. And then I asked him, and the story was? And then he babbles to me about the story, supposed story. And by the way, this is all happening during SmackDown. So I asked him, and then what does Tony Khan do after that? And then he tells me, well, we'll see. Let's not go, oh my God, he has not been used and now he's in catering for 3 years. And then he tells me, it's just like Hunter who didn't use Rey Fenix tonight. And then I asked him, were you complaining when Penta wasn't used for a week or two? And then I told him, sure, they're not there, but we'll see them in the next few weeks or so. Just like the people who were not used on Monday. And that was the end of that conversation. And now I want to move on to the main event. This incredible TLC tag team match. There were some incredible spots in this match. So I'm going to actually go over a few spots that were actually great in the match. So there were 2 ladders set up. Ciampa and Montez Ford were in one. Johnny Gargano was in the other. Johnny Gargano, this guy, does a flatliner off the ladder to Montez Ford. That was incredible. So then the next spot, we have Angelo Dawkins giving a shout out to Big E, does a big ending to Johnny Gargano off a ladder. This next spot was DIY getting the Motor City Machine Guns with chairs. This was on Alex Shelley. Ciampa puts Alex Shelley, he puts a chair on Alex Shelley, and then Johnny Gargano just smacks the chair and just knocks down Alex Shelley. And then they go after Angelo Dawkins. They had like this setup of like musical chairs or whatever. Instead of facing the chairs forward, they actually faced the chairs backwards. And then Johnny Gargano was the one to suffer through that. And then this next spot, this was so random. Everybody's outside. Then I see this one-legged dude hands over his leg to Montez Ford and uses it as a weapon, and then he throws it back at the dude. So then we get to even more crazy spots. Ciampa lifts of Montez Ford, and he gives him an air raid crash into a ladder that was set up by the barricade in the ring. And this spot right here, this was actually incredible. What's that other dude's name? Chris Sabin. He gets Johnny Gargano. There's a table set up outside of the ring. Chris Sabin walks into the table with Johnny Gargano, and then Alex Shelley jumps over the top rope, skull and bones, which is their tag team finishing move, skull and bones through the table. And this was the craziest spot of the match. Tommaso Ciampa is climbing up the ladder, trying to get the belt. He grabs them. Then we have the Motor City Machine Guns moving the ladder away from Ciampa. They get chairs to hit Ciampa in like the feet, in the bottom of his legs. And then they move the table in the middle of the ring, knowing that, oh, Ciampa's going to fall into the table. While this was happening, Angelo Dawkins was climbing up the ladder. Knowing that this is happening, he goes up. He goes to the other side of the ladder. He is aiming towards Tommaso Ciampa. And he does a spear to Ciampa off the ladder through the table. So then we get towards the end here. Johnny Gargano and Chris Sabin are fighting on top of the ladder. Then we got Montez Ford going in between the ladders, climbing up there, taking both of them down, and grabbing the titles. I asked on Twitter, how are these guys not dead? But for real, guys, that was an incredible tag team TLC match. That TLC match could even go down as one of the best matches of the year. What an incredible SmackDown this was. What did you guys think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, tap the notification bell for more videos. Follow me on Twitter @Ethan'sToyShow, and I'll see you in the next one.